Today, we'll demonstrate how quickly you can create cross-platform DNS redundancy using BlueCat Micetro xDNS redundancy to protect against DDoS attacks, eliminate vendor lock-in, and simplify DNS migrations. Let's get started. On our admin dashboard, we see that we're already managing various DNS services: Microsoft, Bind, AWS, Azure, NS1, and Micetro appliances, or MDDS, through our Micetro instance. Now we'll click on the configuration pane and select xDNS profiles. First, we'll create new xDNS profile and add a Microsoft DNS server and our MDDS appliance to the profile. We'll choose the Merge Records conflict strategy for this profile. We'll add our Windows DNS server and our MDDS appliance to the xDNS profile and then click Create. Now we'll navigate to our DNS dashboard. We'll find the zone bluecatdemo.com, which we can see is hosted on our Microsoft DNS server. From the Action menu, we'll add this zone to the xDNS, internal Microsoft MDDS profile. We can now see that the zone authority has changed from wins22s.example.com to the xDNS zone. The servers defined in the xDNS profile share authority over the zone, while xDNS operates in the background to keep zone records in sync. Now, let's configure our second use case, synchronizing Microsoft Azure DNS and AWS Route 53. We'll add another xDNS profile called External AWS Azure and add our Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure DNS services. We'll choose the Overwrite Records conflict strategy. We'll add our AWS and Azure servers and set the Reject External Changes option on both. Next, we'll add our clouddnszone.com domain, currently hosted on AWS, to the xDNS profile. By clicking into our xDNS zones, we can see that the zone is in sync. Looking at our AWS and Azure accounts, we can also see that the zone has been synchronized between the providers. Now, if we add a record directly to the Azure zone, the Reject External Changes option prevents that record from syncing to AWS. Likewise, if we add a record to AWS, it is not synced to Azure. With this configuration, we can maintain core zone records in Micetro, keeping them in sync across clouds, while our cloud and DevOps teams can make DNS changes directly to their respective cloud environments without having those records synced. Finally, consider in our third use case a scenario where we have a Bind server hosting domains that we want to slowly migrate to an external service provider to be better prepared to handle DDoS attacks. We'll create a profile for Bind to NS1 and add our Bind and NS1 DNS services, selecting Overwrite for our conflict strategy. Now, we'll navigate to our ddimanagement.com domain, currently hosted on our internal ns1.example.org bind server. We'll add the domain to the xDNS profile. Looking at our NS1 dashboard, we see that the zone and all the contained records are now available in NS1. We can now rely on NS1 DDoS protection for our domain while phasing out the Bind server, all while maintaining Micestro's orchestration capabilities for all of our DNS providers. BlueCat Micestro's xDNS provides tools for building a secure, resilient, and intelligent DNS architecture. It eliminates single points of failure, mitigates attacks, and bridges clouds, enabling IT teams to manage DNS redundancy confidently and easily. Ready to take your DNS management to the next level? Contact us today for a free BlueCat Micetro trial.